Hello, dear compatriots, Uzbekistan National News Agency observers. You are following the next issue of the Diplomatic Angle, Diplomatic Rakurs project. Our interlocutor today is Mrs. Sabine Mahal, who has recently appointed as the United Nations Permanent Coordinator in Uzbekistan. First of all, thank you so much for interview, as well as welcome to Uzbekistan.
Thank you very much.
Sabine Mahal. Okay, let's talk about first of all the events in a quarter of the relations between Uzbekistan and the United Nations. How do you assess the current state of our cooperation, and how did you period begin? Please, you can speak about it first of all.
Thank you very much for having this opportunity. I've been here now for 3 months already in Uzbekistan. It has been very exciting 3 months. As you know, we also had a visitor from our headquarters. So my boss, the Secretary General, came to visit Uzbekistan on the 30th of June and on the 1st of July. And our cooperation is a very wide one and a very big one. We have 25 different agencies and funds and programs that are working with Uzbekistan. 18 of them have their offices here in Uzbekistan. And it has been interesting 3 months on many different fronts. So not only from the visits perspective of the SG, but also from the work that we are carrying out. I have already visited some of the regions here in Uzbekistan. I was in Karakalpakstan, I went to Jizak, I went to Samarkand. So I have participated in a number of forums. We had the Human Rights Forum in June. Then there was also a number of fantastic cultural events that I had the pleasure of going to, for example, the Makom, which was really fantastic. And also the work that is ongoing, of course, in many different spheres. So we are all working towards reaching the Sustainable Development Goals. And this is what we do through our different agencies, with funds, with programs, where we are trying to find how can we support Uzbekistan's development trajectory. And this is on the one hand looking at those that are the most vulnerable in society and how we can support them, because this is the motto of our agenda of leaving no one behind, but also how can we accelerate the development agenda of Uzbekistan.
Yes, thank you, understandable. Thank you so much. Okay, Mrs. Sabine, at a relatively short period you have attracted much attention.
Did I?
Yes, with your active participation in various projects. In addition, you are attending national and international conferences in different regions. For example, as you said, in mid-August, the United Nations delegation headed by you visited Karakalpakstan. We know about it, and we followed the news also in your Telegram channel and another maybe the news agencies. The partners agreed to continue efforts to support the development of the climate stability on the Aral Sea region. Could you tell me what specific strategies are envisaged in the new projects of the organization aimed to solving the water scarcity and the environmental degradation issues in the country?
Yeah, this was a very interesting visit to the Aral Sea region, to Karakalpakstan. We went to Nukus, to Muinak, and also to a number of smaller villages, because we have something which is called the Aral Sea Trust Fund, which was established by President Mirziyoyev and our SG, Mr. Guterres. When they met in 2017, they had this idea of making such a fund that would actually look at the people in the Aral Sea region. Because the motto of this fund is, you know, the sea is gone, but people are not. So these programs and projects that are coming under the Aral Sea Trust Fund are very much geared to the communities there. So what we do, for instance, we look at health facilities and see how we can improve maternal health, you know, of babies that are born prematurely, how they, you know, provide some of these clinics with incubators. For instance, we were in one of the polyclinics where just a baby was born who had only 1 kilo, and she actually survived thanks to these incubators that were provided. We are looking at schools and how we can also upgrade some of the facilities with WASH. WASH means water, sanitation, and hygiene areas, so toilets, running water, that the children who are in school also have drinking water, all of that. We are also looking at how we can support the negative consequences of the drying up of the Aral Sea, how to keep the soil in the ground, that there is more specific bushes planted that keep the sands in the earth. So basically it's a number of different programs and projects, and when we went there I had colleagues also from several agencies. So I had colleagues from UNICEF, from UNFPA, from UNDP, from FAO, and WHO, the World Health Organization. So we all went together and looked at these programs and projects. We very much hope that we can continue this work, because the fund has currently been capitalized at $16 million with 9 different programs, so joint programs of the United Nations, also with the people of Karakal, Pakistan. But this is now coming to an end by the end of the year, and we hope very much that we can continue this work, that there will be a second phase to the activities of this fund. And this is one of the areas that we would like to highlight now, that it's important that we continue the work with the population and the communities in Karakal, Pakistan.
Okay, we hope also.
Thank you.
It's very good. Thank you so much for your answer. Okay, well, let's talk about the activities of the Trust Fund also, because it's very important as well as very interesting for our observers, actually, which makes a significant contribution to solving the RLC problem, as well as what can you say about the next steps of the foundations in Uzbekistan?
So I hope that the next steps will be also from Uzbekistan, the government side, as well as from the development partners, to continue and to again pledge some resources that we can further, implement programs and projects. Basically, we have reached around 300,000 people with this fund so far. And as I said earlier, it's mainly related to health issues, to education, access to education, quality education. These are very important areas, but also on the ecological side, we have been looking at innovative ideas. What can actually help to improve the livelihoods of the population, and how can we kind of counter all these negative consequences of this ecological catastrophe. So I'm really hopeful, and I very much also believe that, people will see the results of this work. There was recently also a report coming out with all these results specified, and that we can learn from these results and really build on them and continue the work in this area together.
Okay, thank you. The next questions. It's known that in September, New York will host the Summit of the Future. We know, but what can you say about the purpose of this event and its results?
This is a very important event for the United Nations, and also when our Secretary General was here in Uzbekistan, he discussed it with President Mirziyoyev, because it is very important that the states come together in this current situation where we have so many challenges on the climate front, but also on our reaching the Sustainable Development Goals. We are seeing that we do not make enough progress. Many of these goals will not be fulfilled by 2030. We see that often inequalities are actually rising instead of, our societies becoming more equal. So therefore the Summit of the Future is an attempt again to bring the world together and to commit, to make a pact for the future of how we move forward. And I think Uzbekistan can really show a lot to the world in what has been done over the last years, and also here in the region, in Uzbekistan, in the Central Asia region, and then also globally, of how we need to tackle some of those challenges that we are currently having. I mean, the 2030 agenda is very much about us as people and about our planet. And we have no planet B, right? We have only this planet, so we need to really find solutions to these very difficult ecological challenges, climate challenges that we have. And the RLC was just one of the areas where you really see it, of how this completely changes the lives of people when, for instance, here the sea is drying out, but also, I mean, it's getting hotter and hotter. Every month is the hottest months, on record. And I mean, we are seeing all of this happening around us. We need to find some solutions and work together. We cannot do it alone. It cannot be one country alone. It really needs to be done among all the societies.
Okay, thank you. Very shortly, but very important answers. I think so. Thank you.